Hi, it's Sandy here, and here we are again for the full moon rose reading and the first one of 217. And I know there are many people that are feeling pretty relieved to actually get into the 217 energies, but there's been a sense for me that this first part of this new year, from the 19th of December, took us into a Mercury retrograde period and a place of review and reassessment and just looking again at the journey that we've been on as we went through 216. I know for many people 216 was not an easy year, and it certainly wasn't for me either. So it was a 9-year, and we've made this journey into the very beginning now of a 1 year, this potential for a new cycle and the beginning of a new 9-year cycle of our experience and our expression in the world. So there's a real sense that this full moon, has a very, very powerful transformative energy. It activates a grand cross in the astrology and seems to be pretty significant for many of us. It's at 22 degrees of Cancer, Western, and it's at the very end of Gemini if you follow Vedic astrology. So this impulse in the water sign of Cancer really feels to be taking us into our emotional realm, really connecting us into our emotional realm and saying, what is this place in which we can embrace the power of our emotions and move out of that place of being in fear. So it feels like there's a flavor of moving from fear to faith, but also that we have the opportunity to really being present to our own emotional realm. And from that place, come to a place of that transformation between vulnerability, and when we own our vulnerability, when we own those places where our emotional realm is a strong driver for us, then we move into a place of empowerment. Vulnerability, when it's owned, has a power to it. And that feels to me to be the place in which we can step forward into a more positive realm moving forward. This year, I feel, will offer us a much clearer path in holding the higher light frequencies that are now going to be available for us. Those that work on the path of light, work with the light realms. This is going to be a year when we can really embrace and embody the fullness of what we've actually come here to share, the gifts that we've been so patiently honing over these last 10 years or so. Certainly it feels to me that the last Venus transit, which took us from 2004 to 2012, was that impulse of the reawakening of the feminine principle on the planet. And there's been an integration period that's gone on between 2012 and this end of 2016, which allows us to move forward in a stronger way, with greater clarity. I think the other interesting thing is that this moon is known as a wolf moon, and the wolf is a visionary, a forward focused energy. So yeah, these are really powerful and interesting times, and this feels to be a very, very powerful pulse wave in taking us forward yet again. So, the rose reading. Are you drawn to rose card 1, to rose card 2, or to rose card 3. So if you are drawn to rose card 1, here she is. And this is Rose Angel 1. Sorry, Rose Angel 4. Rose Angel 4 sits on the pineal gland and the third eye. And she is all about that journey from judgment to forgiveness. Powerful, powerful rose, this one. She's actually a David Austin rose. She's called the Pilgrim. And there is this sort of real sense of journeying to her center. You know, what is the truth behind the judgment or the thought that may be presenting itself? And, you know, how can we let that go? How can we let that go so that it becomes a place of learning for us? Now, when we find it easy and effortless to judge another, we can also find it easy and effortless to judge ourselves. And that's really not helpful for us going forward. This place of discernment in our choices is one thing, but the energy of where we would judge another is the time that we just have to step back and go, what needs to be let go of here? Excuse me. What needs to be seen? And what can I transform in the light of forgiveness? So if you were drawn to rose card 1 today, there may be an aspect that you're needing to look at that is calling you to forgiveness of another, but also perhaps forgiveness of yourself. And this is another portal place in which we can move forward with the energies going into 217, in this place of working to release all that was behind us. This is a forward-facing energy. This is about being able to step forward and to really embrace this new energy, taking from the past the learnings and the discernment as to what our pathway is going forward, but to let go of any places where there has been judgment of another or judgment of ourselves. And you'll see that this rose is quite complex. And often what we may have going on in our minds in the thought process isn't necessarily what the underlying root is of the thought itself. So if we have the moment of awareness where we can hear what's going on in our heads and then track it back down and say, what's the truth behind this? Often there is another energy that's actually up behind what is the primary thought form or energy going on. So in her pathway of forgiveness, she's inviting you to look at anywhere where that would be beneficial for you. Forgiveness, I feel, is the second most powerful energy to love. You know, unless we can move through into that place of forgiveness, the heart field remains encased in a thought form that's not helpful for us, particularly going forward. So here she is, Rose Angel 4. So if you drew Rose card 1, Rose Angel 4. And if you chose Rose card 2, here she is, Rose Angel 5. Excuse me. It's interesting that these two first roses are the Rose Angel cards, and that feels to be a very pertinent energy just for now. I've got a new online class that starts next Tuesday with a free webinar to start the 6-week class, all about the work of the Rose Angels. And the Rose Angels are the transformers. They're the 5 wounds to the heart. And what they do is they transform the key patterns and programs that we came in with in our soul package to transform and work with this journey. So this rose sits on the throat, and she is very much about speaking your truth, not denying how you feel. She's come up before for us in the rose readings and has come forward again, because there's obviously another piece here that needs to come forward and be revealed. You know, her outer petals are very open. The center is closed. It's like it's got something that needs to be said. And I'm just seeing if I can get her into a place where you can actually see her more clearly. So if you've chosen her today, Rose card 2, here she is. She's got a golden center that's hidden inside the petals as they open. So as we speak our truth, so our inner gold can be revealed. And this is a time when it doesn't feel to be an alone path. You know, 216 had a much more alone feel for me in that sense of the journey. This is a place where we step forward and we speak out and we co-create. We find our tribe. We find those that speak the same language, that we can come into a harmonious connection with. So this is what she's calling. If you've chosen Rose card 2, she's saying, you know, speak of who you are, speak of your truth. And from that, excuse me, and obviously the throat is something that's bothering me today. From that speaking of our truth, others know who we are. You know, until we speak, others can only guess. If we're not speaking our truth, if we know. It's like we know when someone else is not speaking their truth. So when we speak from the heart, it is received by the heart. And so there is a knowing when something is being withheld, or we've only been given enough information. When things have been curtailed, shall we say. So she's asking for truth. She's asking for transparency. She's asking for you to step forward and reveal who you are and what your feeling is about any particular aspect. And Rose card 3. And Rose card 3 is Rose 10. And I must admit, I was a bit taken aback when this card came up, because it was like, well, what's the relevance for this in this full moon reading? But this rose sits in the original 11 set, and she sits on the navel chakra. And the navel chakra has got two aspects to it. There is the actual navel, but there's also a secondary navel chakra, which sits just 2 inches below the navel and 2 inches back within the body, which is when someone works with the martial arts, it's the Dantian or Tai Chi, Qigong, you know, this place of where we hold our energy. But when she's working on the navel chakra, she is very much about the connection between us and our mother. So the navel is where the umbilical cord joins to the placenta of the mother. So, you know, so much of our emotional programming, 70% of our emotional programming comes over the placenta and into the body when we are in utero. So this journey of the connection into the mother line. So this is connection into our experience of being mothered and our experience of mothering. They have a connection and a weave within us. So she's calling you to look at both aspects of this. You know, this is one of the roses that came with a bud. Not many of them came with a bud. And there is this relationship that is going on here. And this rose, you know, the outer petals are quite sort of open, but the inner petals are quite complex. And that's actually quite interesting, because all of the roses that we've had come up today have got a complex centre to them. They're not simple, clear roses. So this time perhaps is asking us to dive deep, to reveal the truth within the simple truth within the complexity of the circumstances that we're experiencing. So this rose, you know, there's even a petal across her centre, so you can't even see into her heart. And actually you can't with any of the roses today either. Very interesting, very interesting. So it's like there's something else that's calling to be revealed. So if you've chosen rose 3, she's asking you to reflect along the path of mothering, and this connection into the navel chakra in the body. And the navel chakra has got a direct connection to the small and large intestine, and what we are able to absorb. When in our food, what is it that we are able to absorb and let go of the residual of? So, yeah, this is a sort of a quite complex reading, really. So here she is. She's rose 10 from the original 11 roses, sits on the navel chakra, and is calling us. If you've picked rose 3, this is about the connection between mother and mothering within you, and perhaps something else that needs to clear and be revealed in the female family line. If you chose rose 2, this is rose angel 5, and again her center is closed. It's like there's something else that needs to be revealed, something else that needs to be spoken of, that needs to be cleared in this process, in this full moon energy. And if you chose rose card 1, here she is, she's rose angel 4. And again, this complex and dense center that is all around the journey of forgiveness and a letting go of judgment of what is. It's a real place of coming into an acceptance of exactly where you are in your journey at this moment. And through that acceptance, something else opens up. There's another light that comes from that, in that sitting back and accepting. So, yeah, not quite the straightforward reading that I was anticipating today. And obviously showing that there are still pieces here that need to be revealed in our own journeys as we step into this new energy of this 1 year and 217. So what other news? I've got some new things that are being put up on, new events that are being put up onto the website, rosealchemy.com, in the next few days. A new in-person Rose 1 class, and actually all of the Rose classes, the Rose 1 to 5 classes, are being reframed into this new, much more 5D heart field energy. The roses are asking for another movement up through their spiral of presence. There is a fabulous crystalline rose retreat that I'm running here in the Rose Temple in Hampshire with Bibi, who's a crystal master, and we're going to weave the crystalline wisdom with the roses for transformation. I've got a new Rose 3 online class, as I said earlier, that launches next Tuesday with a free webinar to give you an introduction to the Rose Angels and their voice of transformation, of opening up the golden heart. So it's a free webinar next Tuesday evening, and that will run into a 6-week class. And yeah, lots of other exciting goodies. I'm also a speaker at the WEF conference in London on the 1st of February. So if you're wanting any extra information about any of those events, do get in contact. And yeah, wishing you a very happy full moon and a journey through the rest of January and the new energy of 217. So until we meet again, with much love and rosy blessings.